Hello again, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the assist receivers, basically giving you a gyro function. I will try and keep this video to a sensible length of between 5 and 10 minutes, which means I probably can't cover anything like what we want to cover, so I'll go on to further episodes of it. You might wonder why you want an assist or gyros. Well, I'm a big fan of them. I have them in every power model, be it propeller or jet. I haven't fitted them to my gliders because I like to think, well, try and convince myself anyway, that I can read the air as the wing wobbles. Probably nonsense, but I like to think so, and I don't want a gyro preventing that. You will hear some people say, oh, you don't need a gyro, learn to fly the model, which means they don't know what they're talking about, quite frankly. If anyone poo-poos it like that, tell them to remove the suspension on their car, because obviously, because they have suspension on their car smoothing out the bumps, they haven't learnt to drive. A gyro, as I'm going to use it anyway, just smooths out the bumps in the air. You wouldn't think of getting in your car without suspension to smooth out the bumps. Why shouldn't you have the similar on your aircraft? Suspension in your car does not drive the car for you. It has absolutely no effect on driving the car. Same with your model aircraft. Your rate gyro or even heading hold doesn't fly the plane for you. So just please ignore people who tell you should learn to fly the model instead of fitting a gyro. They don't know what they're talking about. Rant over. So you've got your shiny new assist gyro, and you rush to fit it to the model, try and program it up. No, please stop. This little device is full of sensors. It's got gyros, it's got accelerometers, and it's also full of very sophisticated software. So before you go fitting it into your model, we want to check that those are up to date and calibrated. So the first thing you are going to do, please, is go to Jeti Studio. If you're wondering how to get this, etc., see my video on updating transmitter and receivers and devices. I've got two different ones there, show you what to get. So we also need the little USB adapter to plug into receivers and devices. So we go into Tools, Device Updater. You will need to set the selected port. It'll probably, every time you switch it on, it says none, but if you go into that, it should drop down and offer you a port, only one we hope, where your USB adapter is. Select that. Please reconnect your device to the USB adapter. Okay, here we go. We plug it into the X port. In there. And Jeti Studios found it. Device detected. Connected ID, blah, blah, blah. Firmware 1.12. That's what we're looking for. Because down here, it will now list the firmware updates that are available. 109, 110, 112, 112. So this device is up to date. But I will go through the whole process to show you, just so you can see what to do, in case you haven't done it before. Select version 1.12 to install. And it will now tell you over here the changes that were made. And I'll go down here and press update. And now the progress bar starts going. Notice this, very important. After updating to 1.12, check everything. Stabilization algorithm has been modified since the previous version. And that's very important, because in this update, Jeti made quite significant changes to the way the whole stabilization system works. Thank goodness they did, because although I love gyros, when I got my first assist gyro, I thought it made the plane worse. It really had some unpleasant characteristics, because Jeti had tried to turn it into a flight controller that took over what you were doing on the sticks, instead of simply damping out unwanted movements. It was trying to take over the servos from whenever you move the sticks. Some people liked it. Enough of us thought it was awful that word got back to Jeti, and they've changed it quite significantly. So you want to be up to date. I would suggest, if you have any models with assists already in them running previous versions of the software, I strongly recommend you change to the new one if you're not entirely happy with what it's doing, because it is so much better. Anyhow, it has finished running the update, so we can close that down, disconnect our receiver, switch on the transmitter, yes, and power up the receiver. Receiver bound. I don't need to bind it because I've already had it bound in the past. Okay, so you want to rush to fit it to the model? No, stop. Let's go over here. Let's check the calibration of the thing. Oh. I was holding the camera the wrong way around. I hope that hasn't fudged up the video. Right, go into menu, model, device explorer, into your receiver, and down to telemetry. This is a bizarre place to put the calibration rather than in configuration, but they've chosen to put it in the telemetry menu. Sensor calibration. Accelerometer calibration, start calibration. What it's going to want you to do is, one by one, starting with it, say, flat down. I don't know if it matters which way around you put it to start with, but it wants you to turn the receiver around all 6 of its faces so that it can set the accelerometers and know what's flat. So you want a pretty level surface, like your worktop. It doesn't want to be on a slope, because you don't want to tell it that it's now down flat and actually it's on a slope. I'm doing it on my building table. I know from a spirit level there's a little bit of a slope on it, but it's not much, so it's nothing to worry about. But don't do it on a 20-degree sloped surface. So start calibration. Do we want to apply the changes? Say yes.
Calibration in progress.
Did you see that it said 6 positions? Now it's got 5 positions remaining. That's because it's now worked out the first position that it's on. Okay, I'm going to rotate it round 1 to that edge, flat on the surface.
Calibration in progress.
And she speaks, and now it only has 4 positions left to do. Turn it round again onto the face there.
Calibration in progress.
It's only got 3 left to do. I'll turn it again onto the next edge. Hold it still.
Calibration in progress.
Just 2 to go. It's the 2 end points. I'll turn it up to that one. Hold it steady. It's flat on the board.
Calibration in progress.
There. And now the last one's not so easy because there's aerials and a battery in there. But if I do it that way, stick it on the edge of the table till it's flat.
Calibration in progress.
And there, we have done the calibration. Come on, focus, my dears. And that's it. It's calibrated. Now, you can actually think about going ahead and using it, but we're coming up to 10 minutes in this video, so I'll stop there and we'll make an episode 2 covering further stuff to do. But at least now you know it's bang up to date, it's got the best software on it, and it's been calibrated, it's properly ready to use. Imagine you hadn't done that calibration, it was a little bit on edge, and once you've got it double-sided taped into the model, it then comes up with the error message, sensor calibration required, or whatever it is. There is an error message that says it needs calibrating, and that's a damn sight harder to do once it's taped deep inside the model.